The night was silent on the alien world, only the sound of wind passing over the broken rocks. A human explorer named Daniel walked carefully, his boots pressing against the strange glowing sand. He had come with his team, but now he was alone, searching for survivors after a sudden battle between humans and alien forces. The sky above was dark, lit by 2 moons, giving the place an eerie light. As he stepped forward, he heard a faint cry. It was soft, almost like the sound of a child. Yet broken, trembling, Daniel tightened his grip on his plasma rifle and moved towards the sound. His heart beat faster, not knowing if it was a trap or a true call for help. Behind a large piece of fallen metal, he saw her, an alien girl, lying weakly against the cold ground. Her skin shimmered with pale blue light, and her long silver hair spread across the rocks. But what caught Daniel's eyes was not her face, not her glowing veins, but her belly. It was swollen, huge, round, unnaturally stretched. She looked as if she was about to burst, her hands pressed tightly against her stomach, as if trying to hold something inside. The belly moved, shifting on its own, as if something alive was crawling beneath the skin. Daniel froze for a moment. He thought of parasites, alien traps, creatures ready to jump out. But then he heard her voice, weak, fragile, almost breaking. "Help me, please. They will come out soon." Daniel lowered his weapon slightly, his human heart pulling him closer. "Who are you? What is happening to you?" he asked, his voice tense but kind. The alien girl opened her glowing eyes, filled with pain and fear. "My name is Soraya. They are not enemies. They are mine and yours." Her words struck him like a thunderbolt. Daniel blinked, confused, his mind racing. "What do you mean, yours and mine?" "I don't even know you," he whispered. But she only gave a broken smile and touched her swollen belly with trembling fingers. The surface moved again, a visible hand pressing from the inside. Daniel stepped back in shock, his breath caught in his throat. This was not a normal pregnancy, not something natural. 9 shapes, faint but real, seemed to be pushing against her skin. Soraya groaned, tears slipping down her cheeks. "They are growing too fast. The council will destroy them. But you must protect them." Her words shook him deeply. Daniel had fought in many battles, seen soldiers die, but this moment made him feel helpless. He reached forward, touching her shoulder gently. "Soraya, I don't understand. What are they? What do they have to do with me?" Her eyes glowed brighter, a spark of hope inside them. "They are your children, Daniel. Half of me, half of you." Daniel's chest tightened, his breath heavy. "Children? How could that be?" He had never known her before, never shared anything, but deep inside, he remembered the time he had saved a mysterious alien from drowning during a mission. Could that moment have bonded them in some genetic way? The belly shook violently, as if the 9 inside were ready to break free. Daniel felt fear, a fear stronger than any battlefield. If this was true, if these were his children, then he was not just a soldier anymore. He was a father, even if he never wanted or expected. Soraya gasped in pain, gripping his hand tightly. "They are coming. I cannot stop it, but you must promise me. You will not let them die." Her voice was fading, her body trembling. Daniel nodded without thinking, his heart heavy with a strange new responsibility. The sound of footsteps echoed in the distance. Alien soldiers were approaching, their shadows moving fast under the moonlight. Daniel's instincts returned. Protect her, protect the life inside her. He raised his weapon again, standing guard before Soraya. Her belly moved one last time, glowing faintly with inner light. Daniel looked at her, his mind filled with questions, his soul filled with fear. But he knew one thing for certain: nothing would ever be the same again. And as the alien army drew closer, Daniel realized he was no longer fighting only for survival. He was fighting for 9 lives yet to be born, lives he never knew he was connected to, but now could not abandon. The night grew darker, the cries grew louder. Soraya's belly shook like a storm trapped inside, and Daniel whispered to himself, No matter what happens, I will protect them. The sound of the alien soldiers grew nearer, the glowing belly pulsed with light. The story of a human and 9 unborn children had just begun. Daniel stood frozen, his rifle raised, his body tense. The alien soldiers' shadows grew longer in the distance. But what terrified him more was the strange life inside Soraya's belly. Every time it moved, he felt a chill run through his spine, 9 shapes pressing against the thin wall of her skin, alive, restless, waiting. He had faced war. He had faced monsters. He had faced the cold emptiness of space. But this was different. This was personal. This was something no training had ever prepared him for. The fear inside him was not only of death, but of becoming something he never expected, a father. Soraya looked at him with weak eyes. Her voice was a whisper, shaking like her fragile body. Daniel, you are afraid. I can feel it. Daniel clenched his jaw, trying to steady himself, but he could not lie. Yes, I am afraid. I don't understand any of this. The alien girl tried to lift her hand to his face. Her fingers glowed faintly, leaving a trail of silver light in the air. You saved me once, when I was drowning. Our blood mixed in the water. Our lives joined in ways you cannot see. Daniel's eyes widened, memories flashing back to that night on the frozen lake. He had pulled an alien woman from icy water, cut by sharp rocks, bleeding. He had pressed his hand against her wound to save her, never knowing his own blood entered hers. Now he realized the truth. That moment had changed everything. 9 lives had started forming inside her because of him, half human, half alien, and all dangerous. Daniel's fear grew heavier. What if these children were monsters? What if they brought destruction instead of hope? He looked at Soraya's swollen belly again, trembling under the surface. It felt unnatural, impossible, yet it was alive. His heart fought with his mind. The soldier inside him told him to run, to leave her, to save himself, to avoid becoming part of something forbidden. But the man inside him, the human heart, whispered to stay, whispered to protect her, whispered that life, no matter how strange, deserved a chance. The footsteps of the alien soldiers grew louder. Daniel turned his head sharply. Soraya's breathing quickened. They are coming to kill them. They will not let them live. You must decide, Daniel. Protect them or abandon them. His palms were sweaty, his weapon heavy in his hands. Every instinct screamed to retreat, but Soraya's glowing eyes pierced his soul. They are your blood, your children. Don't let fear steal them from you. Daniel swallowed hard. His chest burning with panic, he whispered to himself, I never wanted this. I never asked for this. But then he saw movement. Her belly stretched, and a small glowing hand pressed firmly against her skin from inside. A tiny shape, alive, begging to come into the world. Daniel's own fear cracked in that moment, replaced with something deeper, a strange sense of connection, not understanding, but responsibility. The soldiers appeared at the edge of the ruins, their armor shining in the moonlight, weapons ready. They shouted in their alien tongue, their voices harsh, commanding. Daniel lifted his rifle, aiming straight at them. For the first time, his fear turned into fire. He was not just fighting for himself anymore. He was fighting for Soraya, for the 9 unborn lives, for something he could not let go. Soraya cried out in pain. Clutching her belly, Daniel turned back, panic flooding him again. Her skin glowed brighter, light escaping through cracks of her veins. The birth, it is starting too soon. I cannot stop it. She screamed. Daniel pressed his hand against hers. You won't be alone. I'll stay. I'll protect you. The soldiers rushed forward, their boots hitting the ground like thunder. Daniel fired, the plasma bolt lighting up the night. The air exploded with sound, and the battle began. But even as he fought, his eyes never left Soraya. His fear remained, but it had changed. It was no longer the fear of running. It was the fear of losing them. Soraya's glowing belly pulsed, alive, moving. Daniel's heart pounded with every shake. he whispered to himself. As he fired at the soldiers, "I don't care what they are. Human or alien, they are mine now. I will not let them die." The battlefield became chaos. Sparks, fire, and screams filled the night. But in the center of it all, Daniel's fear turned into strength, and in that moment, a soldier became something else, a man standing against a galaxy for 9 fragile lives yet unborn. The night was burning with fire, the battlefield echoing with the clash of weapons. Daniel stood between Soraya and the enemy, his plasma rifle glowing hot from endless fire. But even as he fought, his eyes kept turning back to her, to that impossible belly glowing with strange light. Fear and question swirled inside him like a storm. When the last soldier fell silent, Daniel rushed back to her side. Soraya's face was pale, her lips trembling, her breath weak. He knelt beside her, his hands shaking as he touched her shoulder. "You have to tell me the truth," he demanded. "What are they? What have you put inside yourself? Why did you say they're mine?" Her glowing eyes lifted slowly, filled with pain but also with determination. "You deserve to know, you must know," she whispered. She pressed her trembling hand against her swollen belly, and for a moment the glow shifted. Daniel could see the outline of small shapes inside, not monsters, not parasites, but children. "They are hybrids," Soraya said softly. "Half human. Half my kind, life that was never meant to exist." Daniel's heart skipped a beat. His mind screamed in denial, but his eyes told him the truth. "What do you mean, never meant to exist?" he asked sharply. Soraya looked away, her silver hair falling over her face. "My people, we were dying. Our race could not survive. So the council tried to mix our DNA with other species. None survived. All failed. Until..." Her eyes met his again, glowing with fragile hope. "Until you." Daniel felt his blood freeze. "Me," he whispered, almost afraid to hear the answer. "Yes," she breathed. "When you saved me, when your blood touched mine." Something awakened. "The council tried to end it. They called it forbiddance, but my body held on to it. And now 9 lives are growing inside me. Stronger than both of us." Daniel shook his head, his voice rising. "This is insane. I never wanted this. I never agreed to this." Soraya's lips curved into a sad smile. "Do you think I chose this? Do you think I asked for this pain? No, Daniel, this was fate. Destiny written when human blood touched alien veins." Daniel felt his chest tighten, his heart battling his mind. He had fought wars for Earth, lost friends, carried guilt and scars. But this secret, this bond, this impossible fatherhood, felt heavier than all of it. His hands trembled as he touched her arm. What will they be? Soraya? Monsters, weapons, or children? Her eyes glistened with tears. "They will be everything, Daniel. More human than alien, more alien than human. They will change the galaxy itself." Her voice shook with both fear and pride. "The council fears them because they carry power. A power to unite or to destroy." Daniel's throat went dry. The thought of 9 beings, his blood mixed with alien energy, was terrifying. But at the same time, he felt something stirring in him. A strange pull, like invisible strings tying him to them. He didn't want it, yet he couldn't deny it. Soraya coughed, pain shaking her body. Her belly glowed brighter, pulses of light beating like 9 small hearts. "They are growing. Too fast. I can't hold them for long. Soon they will come. And when they do, the galaxy will either call them saviors or demons." Daniel clenched his fists, anger and confusion boiling inside. "So that's why the soldiers came. To kill them before they're born?" Soraya nodded weakly. "Yes. They call them abominations, but I call them my children and yours." The word yours struck Daniel harder than any bullet. He wanted to deny it, to push it away, to run from it. But deep inside, when he looked at her trembling body and that glowing storm in her belly, he knew it was true. Somehow fate had made him their father. Silence stretched between them, broken only by Soraya's shallow breathing. Daniel lowered his head, whispering more to himself than to her. "I don't know how to be a father. I don't even know if I should be." Soraya reached for his hand, her grip weak but steady. "You don't need to know, Daniel. You only need to protect them. The rest will come when the time is right." Daniel's heart burned with conflict. Could he really raise 9 alien human children in a galaxy that wanted them dead? Could he protect Soraya, protect himself, and protect them all at once? Fear twisted inside him, but so did something else, a spark of courage he thought he had lost long ago. In the distance, he saw new lights approaching, more soldiers, more danger. The war for these 9 unborn children was only beginning. Daniel tightened his grip on his weapon with one hand, and Soraya's trembling fingers with the other. He looked at her. His voice steady for the first time. "Then I'll protect them. No matter what they are, no matter what it costs." Soraya closed her eyes, relief softening her face. Her belly glowed one last time that night, brighter, stronger, alive. And Daniel realized the secret of the alien was no longer just hers. It was his too. The night wind howled over the broken battlefield. 9 lives stirred in silence, and the galaxy, though unaware, had already begun to change. The ruins were quiet again. But only for a moment. Daniel stood guard over Soraya, his rifle still hot, his body trembling with exhaustion. The fire from battle burned in the distance, painting the sky red under the 2 moons. But the real fire was in Soraya's belly, glowing. Pulsing, alive, she groaned, clutching her stomach as waves of light rippled across her skin. Daniel knelt beside her, panic flooding his chest. "Soraya, what's happening?" he asked, his voice sharp with fear. Her eyes opened weakly, glowing brighter than before. "They are too strong. The birth is coming faster than I thought." Daniel froze, his mind racing. Birth? Here? In the middle of broken ruins with soldiers chasing them? It was madness, impossible, yet the evidence was before him. Her belly shook violently, 9 shapes pressing hard, as if desperate to escape. "You need help," Daniel said quickly. "Medical help, machines, something." "I can't do this alone." Soraya shook her head, tears slipping down her pale face. "No human medicine can save them. And no alien doctor will touch me. They call this forbidden life. They will kill us before they help us." Daniel's jaw tightened, anger boiling in his chest. He had heard about alien councils, strict laws, cruel experiments, but hearing it from her, seeing her suffering, made it more real. "You mean they'd rather let you die than let them live?" he asked bitterly. Soraya nodded, her breathing uneven. "Yes, because they fear what they do not understand, and what they cannot control." The ground suddenly shook. Daniel looked up to see lights moving across the horizon. Alien dropships, more soldiers coming. Soraya's eyes widened, fear mixing with pain. "They know. They can sense the children's energy. They are coming to end it." Daniel's mind screamed at him to run. But his heart refused. He could not leave her, not now. Not when she carried life that was part of him. His hands tightened around his weapon as he stood before her. "They'll have to kill me first," he muttered, his voice cold. Soraya's hand reached for his. Trembling, "Daniel, I am not afraid to die. But they must live. Promise me. Promise me you will save them, even if I cannot." Daniel's chest ached, the words cutting into him like knives. "You're not going to die," he said firmly. Even though his own voice shook, "You'll live, and they'll live. I'll make sure of it." Her belly glowed brighter, almost blinding now. Daniel shielded his eyes for a moment, then gasped as he saw it. 9 pulses of light, like 9 hearts beating in rhythm. They were real, alive, and powerful. The soldiers drew closer, their voices echoing across the ruins. Daniel took position, aiming his rifle at the approaching shadows. But inside, his fear was not of them. It was of what was about to happen inside Soraya's body. Her screams pierced the night, sharp and raw. She gripped the ground, her nails cutting into the stone. The belly shook violently, light spilling out in streams. Daniel turned back, panic rising. "Saraya!" "Hold on," her voice broke between cries. "I can't. It's too soon. They're forcing their way out." "Daniel, it's starting." His stomach dropped. He was a soldier, not a healer, not a doctor, not a father, yet here he was. The only one between her and death. The air grew hotter, filled with energy. The glowing belly flashed brighter with every second. Daniel dropped beside her, holding her shoulders. "Breathe, Saraya. Stay with me. I won't let anything happen to you." The ground trembled as the dropships landed nearby. Soldiers poured out, their weapons raised, their voices cruel. "Destroy the abominations." They shouted in their alien tongue. Daniel's blood boiled. He stood, weapon in hand, and fired. Bolts of light tore through the night, striking the soldiers down one by one. But for every one that fell, more came. Daniel fought like a man possessed, his fear drowned by rage. Behind him, Saraya screamed again, her voice mixing with the sounds of battle. Daniel shouted back, "I'm here. I'm not leaving you." The soldiers closed in, their eyes glowing with hatred. Daniel reloaded, his hands shaking but his aim true. He was fighting not just for survival, but for family. Family he had never asked for, but family all the same. Saraya's belly pulsed one final time that night. Brighter than the moons above, her body shook violently, and a beam of light shot upward into the sky. The soldiers froze, their faces filled with fear. Daniel turned back, his own eyes wide. This was no ordinary birth. This was something beyond human or alien. This was the beginning of something new. He ran back to her side, dropping his weapon. Her face was pale, her body trembling, but her eyes were fixed on him. "Daniel, they're coming," she whispered, her voice breaking, and with that, the night exploded with light. The night was no longer silent, it was alive with war. The air burned with the heat of plasma fire. The ground shook under the weight of alien boots. Daniel stood between Saraya and the army, his weapon blazing in his hands, but behind him, a greater storm was brewing. The storm inside her. Saraya's body arched in pain. Her glowing belly pulsed violently, waves of light flashing across her skin. Her cries tore through the night, mixing with the thunder of gunfire. Daniel's heart pounded as he fought, his ears filled with her voice. He could not lose her. He could not lose them. The alien soldiers came in waves, their eyes glowed red, their armor reflecting the moons above. Each one that fell was replaced by two more. Daniel fired until his rifle overheated, the metal burning in his hands. He dropped it, grabbed a fallen enemy's blade, and swung it with raw fury. "Daniel!" Saraya screamed, her voice breaking. He spun to see her, her hands gripping. Her belly, the glow almost blinding now. "It's happening. I can't stop it," she cried. Her skin trembled with the movement inside, 9 shapes pushing fiercely. Daniel's stomach twisted. The birth had begun, and they were still under attack. He ran back to her, dropping to his knees. "You need to breathe, Saraya. Just hold on." Her face was pale, sweat glowing on her skin under the strange moonlight. They're forcing their way out. "Daniel, they know we're in danger." Before he could answer, the soldiers broke through his defensive line. Daniel grabbed his blade and stood over her like a wall. Each strike was fueled by something new, not just survival, but protection. Every enemy he cut down was another second she had to live. But the ground shook again, heavier. Daniel turned to see a massive alien war machine stepping into the ruins. Its metal body hissed steam, weapons aiming directly at them. Saraya gasped in fear. That is a council executioner. They've sent it for the children." Daniel's mind raced. He could fight soldiers, but that thing was built to destroy entire squads. His eyes darted to Saraya. She was too weak to move. If the machine reached her before the birth was done, everything would be over. The machines. Cannon began to glow. Daniel made his choice without thinking. He charged forward, sliding under its legs, slashing at the glowing joints with the stolen blade. Sparks flew. The machine staggered. But it did not fall. It turned, aiming at him. Instead, Daniel rolled behind the wreckage of a fallen wall as the ground exploded in fire where he had stood. Behind him, Soraya cried out again. A strange sound filled the air, not just her scream, but the faint, high-pitched wail of something new. Daniel's head whipped around. From the glow of her belly, a small shape emerged. Bathed in light, it was tiny, fragile, but its skin shimmered like stars. Daniel's breath caught. The first of the 9 was here, but there was no time to feel awe. The executioner machine roared. Stomping closer, Daniel charged again, climbing its side, plunging the blade deep into its energy core. The machine shook violently, steam bursting from its joints. With one last thrust, Daniel tore the core free, and the giant crashed to the ground in flames. He ran back to Soraya, falling to his knees beside her. 3 more shapes had emerged, their glowing forms curled close to her body. Her breathing was shallow, her strength nearly gone. They're coming faster now, she whispered. Daniel quickly pulled his jacket, wrapping it around the newborns to shield them from the cold night air. The soldiers had seen the birth and now charged harder, shouting in rage. Daniel grabbed his rifle from the ground, ignoring the burn in his hands. He stood over Soraya again, firing with everything he had, one by one. The rest of the 9 came into the world. Each arrival brought more pain to Soraya, but also more light to the battlefield. By the time the last child emerged, the ruins were glowing like a sunrise. The soldiers stopped in their tracks, shielding their eyes from the brilliance. Daniel looked down at the newborns, small, glowing, with features both human and alien. They were breathing, alive, and staring at him with eyes too knowing for their size. Soraya's hand touched his weakly. They're safe. For now, she whispered, before closing her eyes in exhaustion. Daniel's chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. The battle was not over, but something had changed. He was no longer just a soldier on a mission. He was the shield for 9 lives that the galaxy wanted gone. And as he looked at them, curled together in the glow, he knew he would fight an entire universe before letting anyone take them. Asterisk smoke rose from the broken ruins, the ground still glowing with fire from the destroyed war machine. Daniel stood over Soraya, his body shaking with exhaustion, his hands burned from battle. But when his eyes fell upon the ground before him, his breath caught. There they were, 9 small lives, glowing softly in the moonlight. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. Their tiny bodies shimmered with both human and alien traits, skin pale with a faint silver light, hair so thin it looked like strands of starlight, and their eyes wide, glowing faintly, already searching, already aware. Daniel knelt slowly, as if afraid he might break the fragile moment. His chest tightened as he looked closer. They were not monsters, not weapons, not experiments. They were children, his children. Soraya lay weak on the ground, her chest rising and falling with heavy breaths, her eyes half open, glowing faintly. She turned her head towards him, a tired but proud smile on her lips. They are here, Daniel. The 9, our children. Daniel swallowed hard, his throat dry. He had fought battles, buried friends, and carried guilt across galaxies. But never had he felt something like this, the weight of 9 tiny beings staring at him, pulling him into a role he never asked for but could not deny. One of them reached out with a small glowing hand. Daniel froze as the hand touched his finger. A shock ran through him, not of pain but of connection. He felt warmth spread through his chest. A bond, invisible but unbreakable, had formed. Soraya watched him with tears in her eyes. They know you, Daniel. They feel you. You are part of them. Daniel shook his head slowly, whispering, I don't know if I can do this. Soraya's weak fingers reached for his hand. You don't need to know. You only need to choose. Protect them, and they will show you the way. The night was quiet for a moment. Even the enemy soldiers who survived stood frozen at the edge of the ruins. Their faces pale, their voices silent. They looked at the newborn 9 as if they were looking at gods or demons. Fear kept them from stepping closer. Daniel wrapped his jacket tighter around the children, shielding them from the cold air. They curled together, glowing softly, almost like a single star broken into 9 pieces. He could not stop staring. Every breath they took made him realize the truth. They were alive, fragile, yet powerful. They were his, but the silence did not last. From the horizon, more dropships roared through the sky. The council was not done. They wanted to erase these 9 lives before the galaxy even knew of them. Saraya coughed weakly, blood on her lips. Daniel, they will never stop coming. The council will hunt them until the end of time. Daniel gritted his teeth, his heart burning with fire. Then let them come, he growled. I'll fight them all if I have to. Saraya's eyes softened, pride flickering in her fading strength. You are a soldier, Daniel. But now you are something greater. Her voice trembled, but her words cut deep. You are a father. Daniel's breath caught again. The word felt heavy, heavier than any weapon he had ever carried. Father, he had never thought of family, never. Dreamed of children, but now 9 glowing lives depended on him, and no matter the cost, he could not let them fall. The children shifted, making soft sounds, not cries like human babies, but musical hums. The sound echoed through the ruins, strange and beautiful. Even the soldiers at the edge of the battlefield looked shaken, their weapons lowering in fear. The newborn 9 were already changing the world around them. Daniel stood, holding his rifle in one hand and shielding the children with the other. He looked at the approaching dropships, his eyes cold. The war was only beginning. But deep inside, something had changed. His fear was gone, replaced by purpose. Saraya whispered one last time before sleep took her. They are the future, Daniel. The galaxy will fear them, or follow them. You must decide what they will become. Daniel looked down at the 9 glowing faces pressed close together. He nodded slowly, his jaw tight with determination. Then I'll make sure they become something worth protecting. Even if I have to fight the whole galaxy to do it. The night wind blew across the battlefield, carrying smoke and ash, but in the center of the ruins, under the twin moons, 9 small lights glowed like hope itself. The children had been born, and the universe would never be the same again. The battlefield was quiet now, but only for a breath. Smoke curled into the night sky, and the ruins glowed faintly under the twin moons. Daniel stood in the center, his rifle hanging in one hand, his jacket wrapped around 9 glowing children in the other. Behind him, Saraya lay weak but alive, her chest rising slowly, her eyes half closed in exhaustion. The 9 newborns shifted softly, their tiny forms pressing close together. Their eyes blinked open one by one, bright, glowing, filled with a strange wisdom far older than their hours of life. They looked at Daniel, not with fear, but with recognition, as if they already knew him, as if they had always known him. Daniel's chest tightened. He was a soldier, trained to fight, trained to kill, trained to survive. But in this moment, he was something else. Something heavier, something harder, something that frightened him more than war. He was a father. Saraya's weak voice broke the silence. Daniel, look at them. Look at what we have created. Her eyes shimmered with pride, though her body trembled with weakness. They are more than you or me. They are the bridge between worlds. The council will never accept them. But you must. Daniel knelt beside her, his jaw tight. I don't know how to raise them, Saraya. I don't even know how to protect them all at once. Her hand reached for his, her touch faint but steady. You don't need to know now. You only need to promise. Promise you will never abandon them. Daniel's throat ached, but he nodded slowly. I promise, he whispered. His voice raw, her smile softened, and she closed her eyes. Drifting into a deep, fragile sleep, the newborns made soft humming sounds, musical, otherworldly. The sound echoed across the ruins, making even the enemy soldiers who had survived step back in fear. Some dropped their weapons and fled. Others simply stared, unable to move. The 9 children glowed brighter, their combined light chasing away the smoke. Daniel looked at the soldiers, his eyes cold. "If you want them," he growled, "you'll have to go through me." But the soldiers did not advance. They had seen enough to know these were no ordinary children. They were something the galaxy had never seen before. Above, the sky roared with the sound of more dropships approaching. The Council would send more armies, more machines, more death. Daniel knew the war was not over. It had only just begun. He pulled the children closer, wrapping them against his chest. He had carried rifles, he had carried supplies, he had carried wounded men. But this weight was heavier than all of it. This was the weight of 9 lives, 9 futures, 9 destinies. And somehow, all of them rested on him. He whispered to them, his voice low but steady, "I don't know what you'll become. I don't know if the galaxy will call you saviors or monsters. But to me, you'll always be mine." One of the newborns reached out, placing its glowing hand on his chest. Warmth spread through him, deep and powerful. The bond was real, unshakable. He was no longer just protecting them. He was part of them. The dropships drew closer, their engines thundering in the sky. Daniel stood tall, rifle in one hand, 9 children pressed to his chest with the other. The wind tore through the ruins, carrying dust, ash, and the faint hum of the newborns. The hum grew louder, filling the air with energy. Even the dropships seemed to hesitate, as if the children's presence reached them too. Daniel narrowed his eyes, his jaw set. "I don't care who comes. Council, army, or the whole galaxy," he muttered. "They're mine now. I'm their father, and I will burn the stars before I let anyone take them." The 9 children glowed brighter, as if answering him. Their combined light spread over the ruins, rising into the night sky. For a moment, Daniel thought he saw shapes within the light, visions of the future, worlds burning, worlds united, armies bowing, galaxies rising in chaos or peace. But the vision faded, leaving only the warmth of 9 tiny bodies against his chest. The soldiers who remained fled into the shadows. The dropships hovered in the distance, afraid to come closer. The universe had changed that night, and every witness knew it. In the middle of smoke, fire, and ruin, a human stood with 9 newborns in his arms. Not just a soldier anymore, but the father of 9, and the galaxy trembled at what would come next.